are live. Let me retweet this very quickly, and then we can start conversating.
I'm here in the bubble still for Thanksgiving. Turkey Day in the bubble at Mohegan Sun. And the good thing is I wasn't able to play blackjack and win any money. But what I did do it was give all of you an opportunity to win. So I felt good about that, Rob, we killed it on day one and allowed you to win some serious cash on the season opening day of college basketball. What could be better, right? Games being played and us giving you cash. And we're going to try to do that again today.
My favorite part is that there were guys in the chat being like, "Oh, look at this square. There's no way he knows what he's talking about. How is he going to give us winning bets?"
Don't doubt me. In Chicago State, baby.
We're gonna get to Chicago State. All right, we're filling up a little bit now, so I think let's start things up with Kansas and Gonzaga. Obviously, it's the big game of the day. It's the one big game of the first weekend of college basketball did not get canceled because of the coronavirus. As we are standing right now, the sports book that I will not name until they pay us has the line at Gonzaga -4. It has the total at 150.5. I've seen Gonzaga 4.5. I've seen Gonzaga 3.5. And this total has been slowly creeping up. The first line that I saw was, I think, 149. So it's going up a little bit. Goodman, where do you stand on this?
I'm taking Kansas. I'm taking the points. You know, I love Gonzaga. I think they're going to win it all this year, Rob. But ultimately, I love the fact that Kansas has some experience here to match Gonzaga. And in particular, they've got experience at the point guard spot with Marcus Garrett. I know he's not a true point guard, but he's been in the program. And I think Jalen Suggs, a freshman for Gonzaga, is going to have a rough time trying to initiate offense and score against Marcus Garrett, who's the best perimeter defender in the entire country. Now, they do have Andrew Nembhard now as a backup, right? I mean, he's kind of that guy who's got some experience, just got cleared. But I still – listen, anytime Bill Self's getting points, don't you have to take it?
Yeah, I really like Kansas in this spot too. Well, I shouldn't say I really like it. I think that the value is on Kansas +4. I personally I'm going to stay away from this game just because I don't have a great feel on it. But I do think that, like you mentioned, Jalen Suggs, welcome to college basketball here. First game of the season, you get to go up against Marcus Garrett. And then I also think that the Kansas perimeter just matches up so well with Gonzaga's guys, right? Like, Ochai Agbaji is 6'5" and really athletic, and he's either going to be guarding Joel Ayayi or Andrew Nembhard, right, on the perimeter. Then you have guys like Tyon Grant Foster and Bryce Thompson, who are both like 6'5", 6'6", athletic, long arms. They're going to be very switchable, right? I really expect Bill Self to be switching 1 through 4 on everything, even including Marcus Garrett and Jalen Suggs. So
can I give you one more? Can I give you one more? My most improved player this year, David McCormick. I put this in our group chat and you all laughed at me. But one thing Bill Self does is he gets his bigs the ball when they can score. David McCormick can't defend like Big Doke, but he can score.
And there's 2 more things I want to mention about David McCormick. I'm glad you brought him up. One, he's not Doke. Don't expect him to be Doke. But he is 7 foot and 250-something pounds, and he's going to be going up against Drew Timme. And look, I love Drew Timme. I think Drew Timme has a chance to be an All-American this season. I think there's a very real chance he ends up being Gonzaga's leading scorer. He is the reason why Philip Petrushev is not at Gonzaga anymore. I think he saw something coming in his rear view mirror. But that said, going up against McCormick and his size, not ideal. I'm also, if there's one thing that really worries me about this matchup, it's Gonzaga putting McCormick into ball screens. But we've now had 2 years where McCormick has been able to learn how to play that drop coverage that Bill Self taught Udoka Azubuike how to be really effective in. So I think that the value here is on Kansas at +4. I am going to be staying away. I don't love either side enough.
What do you like? What's your favorite? The game that you feel the best about coming into today is what, Rob?
So the first bet that I made today, the second that I woke up, the second the line came out, was Memphis -3. It's -3.5 now. I'm going to be all over Memphis. If you watch this show, you're going to hear me talking about Memphis until the value, until the sports books start to value them. Well,
listen. After listening to that story that he gave us, that 6-minute story he gave Antonio Anderson about how he got shot as a freshman, and check that out on the Field of 68 if you haven't seen it. Man, how can you not want to bet on Penny Hardaway after everything he went through? But seriously, listen, that was a big win against St. Mary's. But the difference is now you're going against a team that's a little similar style-wise, right? I mean, they overwhelmed St. Mary's with their athleticism. I don't feel quite as good about Memphis today as you do, but I like them.
Yeah, I don't think that the market is valuing them the right way. I know how good Western Kentucky is, right? And look, it's not lost on me that they beat Northern Iowa on a night where Northern Iowa shot 20 for 39 from three. Has that ever happened before? Northern Iowa was 20 for 39 from three, and they lost. So that's not lost on me. Like I get how good Western Kentucky is. I just think that this line should be closer to like 5.5 or 6. And the fact that it opened up at 3, just it does not seem right to me. I do not think the market is valuing Memphis the way that the market should be valuing Memphis. And just to kind of like put a bow on it, they are going to be an elite defensive team because Penny is a really, really good defensive coach. You know, we listened to that interview with Antonio Anderson, and all he talked about was how much he loves coaching defense, right? His issue is on the offensive end. But now you have guys like DJ Jeffries as a sophomore. Lester Quinones is a sophomore. Damian Baugh is a sophomore. And exactly, Boogie Ellis has embraced this role coming off the bench in something of the Memphis Lou Williams, I think is what Penny compared him to.
That's pretty good. I like that one. I actually like that comparison. I mean, poor man's Lou Williams, but nonetheless. Yep. All right. So while you're wrapping Memphis, I'll go on Northern Iowa because we just talked about them a little bit. And they did shoot the living hell out of the ball and still lost. I just think they got St. Mary's in basically a pick'em game today in which they're not going to be overwhelmed athletically. In fact, they're just as athletic as St. Mary's, and they're older. And they've got the best player on the floor by far in A.J. Green, while life in Moraga is still trying to adjust to life without Jordan Ford. And they're good, but now you're big. They didn't really have a big last year. They're trying to figure that out again. I like Northern Iowa a lot in this one. Give it a point.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly there. I was texting with a WCC assistant the other day as we were watching Memphis just tear St. Mary's apart. And he's like, is this the year that Randy Bennett finally has a down season?
He'll be better. I think I saw this a couple years ago in Vegas. They got pummeled. It was 2 years ago. Absolutely trashed in Memphis. He wouldn't, in Vegas, he wouldn't even look at me after the game. He was so embarrassed. And by the middle of the year, they were pretty good. So give him time. Randy Bennett is one of the best coaches in America. I just think it's going to take time right now.
Yeah, I mean, they don't, when you lose Jordan Ford, like their entire offense last year was basically give the ball to Jordan Ford, go put him in a ball screen, see what happens. And when you lose that, it's going to take time to adjust, especially when, you talked about this the other day, California programs were shut down for a while during the pandemic and everything. So I like Northern Iowa there. Again, AJ Green might be a pro. He might play in the NBA. I know you love him.
I think he is an NBA player. I really do. He's got to gain some weight, but I think he is. All right, my favorite.
Hold on, I got one. Let me go first. I want you to stand up and show people the home field apparel shirt you got on right now.
Right.
Just show them what it is. Show them what it is. All right,
baby.
Are you ready for this? Are you ready for
stuff? Listen,
they are. Well, hold on. Let me go ahead. Yeah, tell the story because it actually matters. Okay, tell the story.
It does matter. They don't have a head coach right now. You know, Lance Irvin had leukemia about 10 years ago, and there's this rift right now between him and the administration where he doesn't feel comfortable. So his doctor actually sent a note, an email to the administration saying, hey, I don't feel comfortable, and neither is Lance Irvin going out there with COVID. He didn't file it the right way, I guess, according to my sources. So they never got back to him on it right now. Then there's some other factors that they couldn't tell me on the record. But this thing is a shit show. Ultimately,
I'm laughing, but it's just like, it's not funny, man. That's just awful. Like that, it's just a terrible situation.
Right.
So Chicago State.
Not the head coach. And they never, I don't know if they still, I didn't check their website. They gave me a statement, but I don't think they've ever acknowledged that Lance Irvin is not their head coach right now, which is so
what a disaster. Anyway, so Chicago State is laying 39.5 right now. They're getting 39 and a half points. Yeah, I'm sorry. They're getting 39 and a half points against Illinois. So I'm gonna lay the 40, man. I already bet on Illinois. I took Illinois and I parlayed that with the over. I got it at plus 255. Right?
I might,
because
honestly, if it was 50, I might still lay 50 points.
Illinois won by 62 points yesterday against a team that's better than Chicago State that has a head coach.
You know why?
That has their head coach.
Because Illinois is deep. So, like, even when they put in their second unit, and that's kind of what you have to look for early on in the season. In some of these blowouts, how is your 7 through 11? Right, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Those
You're
guys,
right.
How good are they?
You're right.
Because
speaking of which, can I give a shout out to Iowa's bench, Iowa's walk-ons? Those dudes came in and they got like 3 stops in the final minute. It was a 26-point game. I needed them to cover 28 and a half. They got it for me, man. They got it. Yeah. They forced 2 turnovers in the final minute to get that covered, baby. Let's go. Let's go Hawks. Oh man, that was awesome. It's always so weird when you're sweating walk-ons in there trying to hold on to like the cover by 1.5. But hey, man, it is what it is. All right,
I'm gonna ride Austin P again. I know it didn't work out great. If you got 5.5 yesterday, you were happy. If you got 6, you pushed. But I still think Austin P with Terry Taylor and Jordan Adams against an ETSU team that is completely new, 10 new guys. Austin P returns its core. I'm going with Matt Figure on this one to start to figure it out a little bit more, and so laying 4.5 on that one.
You might even say he's figuring it out.
Let's go P. Yeah, I think that was my problem yesterday. I didn't say let's go P. And
you didn't pee? You didn't pee? Is that what the problem was? You didn't go? You got stuck in the bubble in quarantine. All right. Now we're going down a road we don't want to go down when we're live on the stream. All right, there's 2 more that I really like. I'm going to start before we get into Villanova, Arizona State. We can break that down a little bit more. I really like Toledo -8 against Oakland. You mentioned this the other day. Oakland came out of quarantine on November 20th. So I think they were out for 2 weeks and they weren't practicing.
Toledo came out a little bit earlier. Toledo had a head start on them out of the quarantine. And
but it does. But here's my logic on why I like Toledo, right? Oakland lost by 52 points yesterday to Xavier, right? Toledo lost on the final possession to Bradley. Yeah. Toledo right now is favored by 8 against Oakland. Bradley is an 8-point dog. I think it's 8.5. At Xavier, on the road at Xavier. So I know that you can't really use the transitive property in basketball, but that just seems like a spot where there's too much value to pass.
And Xavier was without 3 dudes. Like that was the thing. Like we said it yesterday, but teams that come out of the quarantine are generally, if they're shut down for 14 days and they've been stuck in their hotel room. I talked to coaches about it yesterday. I said, like, how long, and even players, how long is it going to take to get back to normal? They were like, if you're shut down, you can't do anything for 2 weeks. It's going to take at least 2 weeks to get back. So I'm with you. I think Toledo is closer and almost back, where Greg Campy and Oakland not close to back. They need another week.
Yeah. All right. So Villanova, Arizona State. That line currently.
I got one more.
Okay.
Actually, 2 more before we get to that one.
Hit me. Let's hear what you got.
Mississippi State. What an embarrassment they were yesterday. Seriously, a complete embarrassment. They scored 42 points against Clemson. They cannot do this again against Liberty. Again, Liberty, a team that lost its top 3 players. Mississippi State's laying 7. DJ Stewart was terrible yesterday. They can't be that bad. Ben Howland, we know, is a really, really good basketball coach, even though they don't have a bunch of highly rated guys like they've had the last few years. I can't imagine Ben Howland and Mississippi State lose this one. So I'm laying the 7. And let's get to tonight's games here, because these are the 2 good games. I really like one, and the other I'm completely.
All right. So what do you really like?
I really like Rhode Island against Boston College. Really, really like it. And for a couple reasons. One, BC does not match up well against Rhode Island. Rhode Island is a bunch of athletes. I mean, you should see them on the court last night. Like, Rhode Island, Arizona State was just like dude who can make play after dude who can make play. They can all do it off the bounce, live bodies. They can get after it. The Mitchell twins. I don't know how Boston College is going to control these guys. I just don't. I don't know how they're going to stay in front of them. BC Villanova was actually a good matchup. They weren't overwhelmed athletically at all. BC's way better than they've been. Way better. They're deeper. I like them. Don't get me wrong, but I just think Rhode Island, especially coming back and playing as tough as they did. The big thing I wondered about with Rhode Island was when things go bad, are they going to give up? A bunch of second, I don't want to say second chance kids, but they are, because most of them were kind of booted out of their programs for lack of playing time or whatnot. The Mitchell twins at Maryland and, some of their other guys. So I think Jalen Carey from Syracuse. So I like Rhode Island. Again, I think BC matches much better up to a team that's skilled, cerebral, not as athletic like Villanova. So I think it's a pick 'em game.
Yeah, that's actually a perfect segue into the Villanova-Arizona State game, because what really worried me about Villanova was the fact that Mackay, Ashton Langford, and Rich Kelly, and who was their other?
Rob, you can get by Rich Kelly. I'm convinced.
Yeah, I can't remember I'm blanking. Not Winston Tabbs. Who was the other guy? I can't remember. I'm blanking on his name. Either way, Jay Heath. Yeah. So they have those two guys, Heath and Ashton Langford, got literally wherever they wanted to against Villanova's backcourt. Like that was a big red flag to me for Villanova, is they couldn't stop penetration at the point of attack. So
listen, Jay Wright told me after the game, he said, what people don't realize is like Colin Gillespie was out like 5 weeks from an injury. He's had multiple guys out. So he's like, I didn't light up my team after that performance at all, because I understand, what we're dealing with here with Colin. Colin's nowhere near. You could see it. Like Colin couldn't stay in front of anybody.
Mm-hmm. And now you're going to ask him to stay in front of Remy Martin or Alonzo Verge.
Yeah.
You have Josh Christopher out there. You have Marcus Bagley.
State? What's the line?
4.5. I actually no. So here's the thing. I don't like Arizona State in this one, because I just don't think that they're disciplined enough.
Right. No.
And you have to be disciplined to beat Villanova. What I do like is the over, because I just don't see how Arizona State can stop a Villanova offense that is going to execute them to death. I also don't see how Villanova is going to stay in front of Arizona State. The only thing that worries me about the over is that if Villanova can control the tempo, what they want to do is go possession by possession by possession and kind of go real slow. But I just don't see how anyone's getting stops in this game. Now, it opened at 155, which was higher than I was expecting it to be, like 150. So I'm gonna wait and see if that can kind of come down a little bit before I bet on it. But again, I don't love either side in that game. I think the line is kind of to a point where there isn't really any value. But I want that. If you can get that total to come down to like 152, I'll be on the over.
All right. So to recap, which we're going to try to do every day now, because yesterday was a little bit of a shit show and we're all over the place. So to recap, my 5: Kansas, Austin Peay, UNI, URI, Mississippi State. Who are your 5?
Yeah. So the bets that I have in right now, I'll just tell you what I bet. I got my app up right here. What I bet right now is Kansas. Where is it?
Kansas. You pick Kansas.
No, I picked Kansas. I didn't bet on them. This is what I bet on. I have Northern Iowa -1.
Yeah.
I have the Illinois -39 parlayed with over 147. I have Toledo -8, and I have Memphis -3. That's what I bet on right now.
So those are your 5: Memphis, Toledo, UNI, Illinois, and the Illinois over.
Yeah. And I'm probably gonna do something with the Kansas, and I can't not bet on Kansas and Gonzaga, and I can't not bet on Villanova, Arizona State. I haven't decided where I'm going to be yet.
With 5 here every day. There's a new rule.
I just gave you 5. I just gave you 5.
7.
I did. I just told you what I bet. I don't have to give you anything.
You got to give.
I give you what I want to give you, Coach.
All right. Well, as long as these guys,
as long as Home Field Apparel, baby, we want. Hey, we keep winning like this. We're not going to need sponsorships from Home Field Apparel, but we'll take them anyways. We'll take them. We'll take them. All right, guys.
It was day, everybody. And,
happy Thanksgiving. Everybody, be safe, please. If you're around, don't go around to big parties. And if you do, wear a mask, please. Please do. All right, Jeff. We'll talk tomorrow.